First and foremost, all thanks and praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wawakakwadash. Peace, blessings, much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth to the rest of the church who believe as well. You men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters also. And the water to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. Let's touch on Revelation 18, chapter 6. Reward her as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, and the cup which she had filled, fill to her double. Who is the her speaking of here? The her is referencing America. People have to understand, it's a common law, as you would call a universal law. You reap what you sow. America has sown in straight filth. America is a trashy, despicable, abominable society. And just as America has caused everyone around her to drink of her filth, well, she's going to have to drink it, but in a double portion. You can't live wickedly and think you're not going to have your day. That goes for people. That goes for countries. Okay? Societies, whatever. Verse 7. How much she hath glorified herself, and hath lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. And that's the pompous attitude that America has been promoting. But the beautiful thing is that pompous attitude is dwindling. It's shaky now. America isn't as great as people once thought she was. Verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. See, America's been looked at as a great kingdom, a powerful kingdom. But the Lord is far greater. And the Lord is going to send fire down upon this woman, this whore known as America. All the wicked works of America has been recorded, has been placed in the jar, and the jar has been tightly sealed shut. It's not forgotten. And then on top of that, all the iniquities that America is still performing are also being collected and added to the tab. So fire, plagues are coming to America. And not just fire being the ICBMs, you already have fires happening in America. But there are also other plagues to worry about. There's going to come a time where there's not going to be any food. There's going to be a time where there's not going to be water. There's going to be a shortage of things. But because of how America is causing people to feel like everything is okay because America is a liar, Many people are going to be thrown off when they see a drastic change come. And that drastic change is going to happen very soon. Okay? Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. And she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. So before America is utterly burned with fire, guess what's to come? There's going to be a lot of death. There's going to be a lot of mourning. There's going to be a famine. That doesn't sound good, because it's not good. Okay? Mark chapter 13 and verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. So we are in the beginnings of sorrows. We are in some troublesome times. A lot of our people are not pondering on what's to come. They're not focused on what's to come. Because if they were, they'd have a more serious mind. It wouldn't be stuck on folly, how to create a comedy skit or make up the next dance move. But yet you have elites, even just common everyday Edomites, in prep for what's to come. But that's not going to help them. The judgment that's coming, if you don't have Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, nothing's going to help you. That's just the facts. There's earthquakes in diverse places. There are talks of war in the air. We're in World War III. Russia's already let it be known that if the West, more specifically America, was to send any troops to Ukraine, there's going to be a nuclear war. Well, it's already written that there's going to be a nuclear war. The signs are in the air, it's evident. But before that nuclear war comes, other sorrows would have to come. And one of those sorrows, of course, being a famine. Let's go to Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. And that's happening right now, even in Texas. There's a fire going on in certain parts of it, and that's affecting the cattle. A lot of cow meat comes out of Texas. Well, a lot of these places, just like here where I am here in Kansas, there's a lot of farming going around. But it's going to come to a point where there's not going to be any more, fruits and vegetables being sown, any more, cattle being raised up to later on be slaughtered and sold for profit to be eaten. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And we're seeing that right now. And this is a planned attack. Esau, Edom is purposely trying to bring in a famine. That's why they're trying to cripple these farmers. They're trying to cripple a lot of these grocery stores. The fact that Walmart's no longer open 24 hours like it used to, that's a big enough sign on its own. Believe it or not, there was a time just in recent history, Walmart was open 24/7. Not anymore. A lot of these stores where people can go to and just, get their items, they're already having trouble finding items now. And it's going to keep on intensifying. It's going to keep on getting worse until eventually the staff of bread is going to be completely broken. And these are things that we must speak on, because these are things that are going to happen. Verse 24, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. We're coming into a time where people are going to turn on each other for want of food, for want of water, for want of clothing, for whatever needs they may have that aren't being met. People are going to turn against each other, close relatives, close friends, married couples. People are going to show their true colors when things get so bad that you can't even find food. Gotta imagine that, man. Verse 25. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of the world. So the remaining number that's going to be saved out of the destruction is the house of David, the elect, the believers of the household of faith. They're going to be saved, delivered, receive mercy, because what's to come, if you don't have mercy granted upon you from the Heavenly Father Yahweh and His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai, it is going to be a very, very awful time. We do these videos and it may come off repetitive. It may not be the most interesting thing to a lot of people because there's so much folly and distraction going on. But what we have to understand, there is a high reward that comes with being in this ministry. And we haven't really got to receive those perks on a level that we may like. But it's coming. It is definitely coming. When it gets bad and the food is at a lack, people's stomachs are making love to their back. We're going to understand why we had to hold on and fight. Let's go to Job 27. Job 27:16. Though he heap up silver as the dust and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. You have doomsday preppers getting prepared for what's to come, but they're not getting prepared spiritually. They're getting prepared carnally. When things get bad, they may not be around their things, or they might have already been put to death. Okay? And all the nice things that they've been saving up on are going to be divided amongst the men of the Lord who come across it. A man may go to a house, and it may be a nice house. And I'm speaking of when Jacob's trouble is at a level where we can't teach this word. Jacob's trouble being at a level where the mark of the beast is law. It's mandatory. And those who don't have it would have to be looking at the penalty of death. During these times, for those of us who may be on the run, you come across a house. This house has nice clothing for you. They fit just right. They might have your shoe size. Okay. Food and wine in the refrigerator. This is what the Lord has in store for those who hold on. You have doomsday preppers who are trying to invest in gold and in silver. That's going to be divided amongst the men of the Lord who come across it, whether in a group or solo dolo. But the Lord is going to take care of his. The Lord is going to direct the path of his elect during that famine that's coming. Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not on thine own understanding. Leaning on our own mind and understanding, that's a normal thing to do because that's what the common person would do. But we can't be like the common person. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes, fear the Lord and depart from evil. So the Lord is going to direct our path, and we have to keep faith in that. Because it's going to get so bad, there will be no food, no water in sight. But somehow, some way, the Lord is going to feed his elect. Okay? The scriptures tell you that during these times, we're going to laugh, which would have to mean we're being fed and protected in the times to come. Job 5:22. At destruction and famine, thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. And trust me, in the days coming, since there's going to be a shortage of food, the animals got to eat too. You don't think they're going to be on the prowl looking for food? But when these days come, consider the Lord is with you. You've been doing what you're supposed to do. So during that destruction, during that perilous time, during that time of famine and great evil and death, the Lord's going to guide and protect our steps. And we have to remember it's the Lord sending the evil. It tells you that in Ezekiel. The Lord's going to send the evil. So as long as we're pleasing the Lord, he'll protect us and we'll be fine. Us and our house. Yes, a famine is coming, but understand that we'll be okay. Proverbs 27:27. And thou shalt have goat's milk, enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance of thy maidens. So the Lord's servants are going to have enough. The Lord's servants are going to succeed and be all right. The patience that we have to have and the things that we deal with that we have to take on the chin, we're not just going through these things because the Lord is bullying us and trying to, destroy us. But seeing that there's a reward anyway, how is that not fair? So great evils come into this world, and one of those great evils is famine. But we'll be okay. Romans chapter 8 and verse 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Mashiach? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? So nothing's going to be able to separate us from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, not even famine. And famine, that's a terrible moment, man. Being starved out is one of the worst ways to die. Being starved out is worse than getting stabbed. It's worse than being shot. As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. So That's why it's important to hope that we're of the elect, because the elect are going to be found worthy to receive mercy and not to be accounted for the slaughter that a lot of people are seeking upon our souls. So understanding that we're being in this truth, us being in this truth is not for nothing, no matter how hard or bitter it seems, no matter how repetitive it seems. You know, the days kind of melt together. But we have a great reward coming to us and great protection as the world is falling more and more into turmoil. So I'm going to wrap it up and give all thanks and praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wa Rakak Wadash. Shalom.